It's time for FLALAW, brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes. This hour will be informative, along with taking your questions and comments. Now, here are your hosts for today's show.
Good evening. It is Tuesday at 5 o'clock, and therefore you are listening to FLALAW on the radio. Welcome to this show. I am your host, Matthew Noyes, one of the attorneys at the law firm of Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes, the oldest personal injury law firm in Tampa Bay. We started back in 1955 and going strong for the last 71 years now. And as always, we're here to answer your legal questions and help you understand your rights and address the concerns you have regarding the law. But tonight, we're going to do something just a little bit different. You see, at our firm, we believe in being a voice of the injured also means being a voice for the community. And that's why tonight we're shining a spotlight on an incredible local organization that's making a real difference right here in our community. And that's the Mattie Williams Neighborhood Family Center. As an attorney, I myself and my partners jump in to help good people after they get hurt in an accident. But the people at Mattie Williams are right there on the front lines, helping people every day, helping families who are struggling, providing food, support, and hope when it's needed most. And so I thought it was the only right thing to do, and is to have them come, and I'm honored to have them to be my guests to share their stories and let our listeners know just a little bit more about what the work that they do and for the so many families that are in need. Just like all other times, this is a live call-in show. So if you have questions, you can call us live at 727-441-3000. We are also live on Facebook. The law firm's Facebook page is Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. And you can jump on Facebook and see us live and type in your questions right there to address a question or a comment regarding the law or Mattie Williams. And there's one third way to do it as well, and that is through the live YouTube channel. And again, that's Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. You can jump on YouTube, and Ed on the other side of the glass will be quick to let us know that you have a comment or a question, and we'll be happy to address that. But without further delay, let me introduce you my two guests. I have David Hale, the Executive Director at Mattie Williams, and Ellen Young, the Food Pantry Manager.
Hello, kind sir.
Hello. I have known Ellen for years, and I've seen the great work she and her helpers do on a daily basis. And I've also seen David. He's been working nonstop, always smiling. He's a great leader for Mattie Williams. So thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. David, I want to jump right in. And why don't you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself and what the Mattie Williams Neighborhood Family Center is all about?
Oh, I'm happy to. Thanks so much for having us here. We're always happy to get the word out about the center for folks who want to know more about how to support, but also those who may need our help. So my family and I live right here in Pinellas, and when I moved down here, it was my greatest wish to find a way to bring my skills and experience to help the families in our neighborhood. And I found it right at the neighborhood center with Ellen and the team there. Really, it's a place where we provide wraparound support and care, whatever a family may need to get on its feet. And so our mission is to make sure that families and children have every opportunity for success. And boy, at these times, it's very important, the work we're doing. There's certainly great need out there, and we're blessed to be able to connect neighbors, to meet people where they're at, provide the support they might need to overcome those challenges that any of us can face, really.
And I think that's a wonderful thing, is how you said neighbors, that you connect neighbors to neighbors. And really that's wonderful, because it really is a community effort to get it together.
It has to be. I think a lot of these solutions are at the neighborhood level, right? So we every day at the center are receiving donations of clothing and food and money, and using those donations to help others in need. And we certainly have folks that you might expect that come through the center. We help folks in poverty. We help unhoused individuals. But there's those folks you might not expect. Just last week, we were working with a family who lost everything in a house fire.
Wow.
You know, doing everything they should be doing, two parents working, kids in school, and just like that, they need help to get back on their feet. And so what the center does is we first start by feeding folks, making sure they have clothes and shoes, roof over their head, and we make sure those kids get back in school and stay on track.
That's perfect. This isn't your first rodeo in community service, is it?
No, I've worked my whole career in, first I was an attorney, practicing pro bono lawyer. I worked in Washington, D.C. for several national nonprofits. And then when we moved down here, my question was, how could I have the most impact? How can I make the most difference? And I got to tell you, it's the neighborhood family centers.
That's wonderful.
It's a really magical kind of mission. And the team there is what makes it work every single day. Not just our staff, but definitely our volunteers who really outnumber the staff like 3 to 1.
That's
we couldn't
wonderful.
do it without.
They're the heartbeat of what we do.
They
Truly are.
And Ellen, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you as well? I've known you for years and years.
I fed you several times.
You have,
and not in a food pantry mode.
But food is in your blood, that's for sure.
Food is in my blood.
So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you and your role over at Mattie Williams?
A little background about me. You probably know me and my lovely partner of 27 lovely, long, glorious years, Sue Cello. We started off as Cello's Char House in downtown Safety Harbor. Then we moved along and became Cello's Lunch House right here in downtown Clearwater.
Delicious both places, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. COVID hit, and here we are, have a restaurant, everything's closed. Now what do we do?
Right. Since
I volunteered, since pretty much the inception of when our executive director previous to David, Janet Hooper was there, I volunteered because of the restaurant downtown. And where else to go is to go volunteer in a food pantry because things were ramping up.
Right.
The food pantry you could not come in and shop anymore. We needed to figure out how to turn it into a drive-through method. So with my restaurant skills and trying to get everything out in an expeditious way, we kind of turned it into a small little restaurant and with everything to go.
Yeah, you revamped the organization in such a way that many families were able to benefit from that organization.
Yeah. So then Janet realized that we sold the restaurant in the middle of COVID. Who does that? Thank you for the divine intervention of that one. And Janet said, I'm going to need somebody to come on board. And I came on board as the food pantry director there. And the need has grown tenfold. It's just amazing on how many people that are so food insecure. And like we just had the family that walked through with the fire, yesterday you might not have been food insecure. Something happens, a life problem comes along, be it a fire, medical necessity, a car accident, anything of that. Where do you go?
Our clients are just living their life normally. All of a sudden, boom, they get in a car accident, they're injured, and their life is turned upside down. And we try to help them. And you guys do the same thing. Their life turns around because of something that may have happened, and you guys jump in and you help them. So we kind of do the same thing, but you guys do a lot more better.
Two sides of the same coin, though. Really,
Right.
it takes both sides, and we work a lot with the legal community here. Honestly, try to get upstream and help folks prepare. We're really excited about a workshop we're hosting tomorrow night with the Bay Area Legal Services.
I saw that. That was very good. Yeah.
To help folks with their planning for their medical advance directives, for their estate planning. Unfortunately, we've seen families who didn't have the documents they needed, and then something happens, like you're saying, unexpected, and then you got problems. So we try to get upstream. We're trying to help people prepare, just be a little bit ready.
No, that's wonderful. If you're just jumping on, you are listening to FLALAW on the radio. You may be saying, why aren't we talking about the law? And that's because we're talking about something very important, and that is the Mattie Williams Neighborhood Family Center. I am blessed to have David Hale and Ellen Young here talking about the wonderful things that Mattie Williams does. I guess what we didn't say is, where is Mattie Williams?
Oh, that's a great question. So our headquarters is in Safety Harbor. We're MLK and 10th there, just off in Mullen Booth. But we serve all of Safety Harbor, Oldsmar, and Clearwater. And as of January 1st, we have a satellite office office at the Greenwood Rec Center to help folks in Clearwater
Oh, I
get
didn't
that
know
family
that.
support.
That's
right.
wonderful. That's
Yeah.
right down the street from us.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. The radio station right here. So that's a wonderful thing to do. And it recently expanded as well. Isn't that correct?
We have.
Oh my gosh, yes. I gotta thank Ellen. I have to thank Ellen every day for running food pantry because she wouldn't stop serving people, right?
You
But
can't.
You can't. And but we did need to grow. And so we've been under construction for 2 years. But we are open and then some.
Longer than that, right?
To expand food pantry.
To expand food pantry,
To
we're
build a
doing it one more
community
time.
room. That's where we're doing our workshop this week. To build out some space to meet with families. There wasn't a place actually to meet privately with a family. And within that crisis moment, you got to have a room for that.
Right.
You got to give them some support.
No, that's wonderful. What makes Mattie Williams unique compared to the other community resources?
What a great question. I think it is the heart and soul of the place. As I said earlier, I've worked for other nonprofits. Everybody has a mission. Our mission is to be there for that family no matter what. So if there's something we can do that will help them out, we'll do it. And we've done everything from transportation to employment to housing to just the support that a family might need. We've helped out a young man who had to take on the breadwinning role for his family when his father got disabled. And what he needed was an electric scooter to get back and forth to his job from school. We got him that, right? It's that kind of thing.
Well, and isn't that how the clothing closet got started?
The clothing closet got started as well. Mattie Williams is a true woman. She was one of the head volunteers. So every day that we say her name, I think she is going through all of us to make sure that everybody is fed, clothed, whatever their problem is, it's taken care of. And with the team that we have under our roof at 1003 Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard Street in downtown Safety Harbor, with everybody that's there, we try to do it the Mattie way. And that's the way we say it too.
That's wonderful.
What would Mattie do?
That's wonderful. Now, I know they do one of the big things that Mattie Williams does is providing food for those families in need. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what trends you're seeing right now in terms of the need for food in our community?
Our numbers have gone through the roof. Our fiscal year goes October through the end of September. And right now we're at a halfway point. My numbers, I just did our numbers from October to the end of February. And we're at 143,000 people served.
Wow.
And
that's just half the year so far.
That's just half the year. So last year we fed 27,607. So we're at the halfway mark.
Wow.
That's sad.
And it's surprising because, people can see on the news that families are struggling, but until you get to really experience it yourself,
right,
or know somebody that experiences, you think it's just on the news and it's not real life. And so you guys see real life every day.
We see it every day. We've watched egg prices go from $5 a carton to right now they're $1.66.
Wow.
And we bought them. The monetary donations that come into the food pantry, I'm a thrift shopper. I'm going to go out and buy them. We offer our clients, we're a choice pantry. Even though we're still drive-through, we're still a choice pantry.
What does that mean?
Choice means I'm going to come to the car side and say, hey, Matt, and I know what your family dynamics are, how many adults you have in your family, how many kids you have in your family. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to ask you, do you want milk or eggs? You get a choice of one or the other. Do you need butter or do you need cheese? If you tell me cheese, I'm going to ask you, do you want mozzarella? Do you want cheddar or do you want American?
Wow.
Then we offer you bread. You can tell me what kind of bread you want. We might have it. Do you want bagels? Do you want a box of non-perishable cans? Then we're going to go in and ask you, what kind of meat do you want? Chicken, beef, pork, okay? And then I'm going to ask you, what else do you need? we're basically a small little grocery store in there to where we offer anything from pet food, because pets are food insecure too.
Sure.
So we have cat and dog food. We have health and beauty aids, meaning shampoo, deodorant, body soap. We have laundry soap, dish soap. The disposables are the main requests. Toilet paper, paper towels,
Okay.
anything in a can, and then anything that you can eat.
Good. And I think the way you do it gives the recipients a sense of self-worth. They're
Yes.
they don't feel
Exactly.
like, that they're,
Here's your box.
yeah, here's your
Thanks-
box. Go
thanks
see
for
you
coming.
later. You're a number. See you later.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no,
we
I-
try to give them their choice of what they want. Some are very specific. I don't want white meat. I only want dark meat. I don't want ground beef. Do you have bacon?
Right.
Yeah.
There's probably some religious beliefs too that
Right.
prevent
We
you
don't
from
want
having
pork.
that.
Right.
No, I think that's wonderful. What misconceptions do people have, not just about the food, but also misconceptions that people have about people in need?
Oh, this is a great question. We get asked, because we're a drive-through and people could come down to MLK and see it. We get asked sometimes, does it bother you to see a fancy car? We have a Tesla that comes through every week. What people might not know is that family actually lives in that vehicle.
Yeah.
And so you can't judge others is really what the lesson is. I wish people really did understand that. And that's where our mission starts. There's absolutely no judgment. We will serve anybody who comes through the door. And it's our job to understand how best to serve them. Right? Everybody has a different need. So that's what we specialize in.
That's a great answer, because my family does something for Thanksgiving, and we do it thanks to you guys. We picked up on the drive-through concept, and we still do it now.
Teaching all the way
I
around.
know.
It's a great
And some of my younger nephews and nieces said, well, how come they're driving a Cadillac? And so the same explanation. We don't know what they're going through now, and that may be their only place to live.
Right.
And so we can't judge. You got to,
That's right.
if people are coming for need, they're coming for need.
But that's their form of transportation. Who cares?
Right.
I mean, if you were blind, you wouldn't know. We wouldn't even know each other what we're wearing. But and I would say that often. It's like, if you're blind, you could care less what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing a name brand,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you drive,
Right.
just because that is a Lincoln or that's a Tesla or that's a Bugatti that's driving through
Right.
the drive-through.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
That's their form of transportation, and it's probably paid for.
Right. I think one of the other misconceptions, and correct me if I'm wrong, is people think that it's only the unemployed or the disabled that need your services, and that's furthest from the truth.
Oh, absolutely. Most of our clients are families with children. Most of our clients, both parents are working. And that's just the truth of the economy, that you can be fully employed and still not be able to make ends meet. And what we're doing here is budget alleviating, right? So we can give them food, but it won't be everything they need.
Right.
Even with a weekly food pantry, we can't meet all their needs, but we can help supplement that budget. It's the same for our after-school program that we have. That's on a sliding scale based on need. It's to support working families. Childcare is one of the most expensive things out there.
Sure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your child care program and after-school program?
I would love to. I'm very proud of it. It's called the Bright Ideas Youth Development Program. All the neighborhood centers have this program. And again, aside from just helping working families with that time between when the kids get out of school and when you get off work, we're able to supplement what they do in the schools. So when kids get off, we pick up at the local schools and bring them over to the center. And when they get off that bus, they are full of energy, right? So they go right into the playground. They run off that energy. They get a snack, because you can't learn on an empty stomach. And then we do small group targeted tutoring, right? So if they're behind on reading, we just do reading. If they're behind on math, we just do math. And if they're all caught up on that stuff, we do art, music, a little bit of history, some of the things just around the edges to help really support what's already going on in the school.
And I've seen the playground out there, so they get their physical activity
You
as
bet.
well.
100% every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to run off the steam.
Yeah.
To hear the laughter that's out there, it's amazing.
But I can tell you this, that when we started this school year, more than half of the students in our middle school program were not on grade level reading, and now all of them are. And one of
Wonderful.
them just made the principal's list.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. So it's not a babysitting program. It's more of a learning program.
It's definitely structured. Yeah. And again, we kind of fill the gaps in the margins to do the things. We're full-time when school is out. So we just had a spring break camp this summer. We'll have 8 weeks of full-time summer camp. I got to tell you, I wish I had a program like that when I was that age. It's top notch.
No, I'll admit it. I went over to the after-school program one time, probably several months ago, and the way that the instructors had those kids so well organized, and
I'm glad
just
it looked that way.
so polite. I did it for a birthday thing that I did, and so I dropped off 60 art displays or art kits for them. And one of the
I
girls,
loved them.
one of them girls saying happy birthday, and then they all joined in singing happy. It was just, you could feel the kindness when you walked into there, not just from the teachers or the instructors, but from the kids. They really enjoyed being there. So
Thank you for saying that.
it was great.
I would say we definitely have kindness at the heart of that program.
You can see.
Yeah,
So that's a
thank you.
wonderful thing. I want to jump back to the pantry really quick. Alan, what are the most requested or the hardest to keep items in stock?
You would, good question. The hardest item to keep in stock is not food. Something that you cannot buy with your SNAP benefits, it's disposable. And we use it every day. It's toilet paper.
Right.
That's it.
Toilet
And
paper.
people don't appreciate that that you can't use SNAP benefits for that, correct?
A lot of people don't realize that SNAP benefits are strictly for something that you're going to eat. And as we all know, SNAP benefits are going to change the end of April, because now they're not going to be able to buy any sweets for them, no
Okay.
sodas, no cakes, nothing sweet at all. So we're going to see an increase. Yeah, can we get cookies? Sure.
Yeah.
But the main items, we collect the data on all the requests at the end of our food pantry, and on our food pantry slips that go in, our order slips. And the number one is toilet paper, paper towels, and then the third item is cereal,
Cereal, cold cereal.
cold cereal.
Why do you think that?
I think because a kid can eat that. Kids
Right.
like it. Kids can, it's a meal that a kid can make, especially if they have milk.
The
Be it
milk, you get protein.
You have some
Right.
protein there. So that's why we make sure that we offer the milk, eggs, butter, and cheese.
Yeah. And as my son ate his Fruity Pebbles yesterday for dinner,
See?
who's 20 years old,
Oh.
yeah, cold cereal can be both breakfast and dinner. So,
Right.
and with the milk, it's very, it's a well.
But that's a meal that a kid can fix himself.
Right. I think that's wonderful. But I assume there are times when the supplies run low or the demand exceeds what you all may have.
There are times that happens.
What do you do?
We punt. So most of our frozen meats are donated. I should say all of our frozen meats are donated, but there are times where if we run low and I see that we're not going to have enough for our second shift, because we do food pantry drive-through in the morning on a Thursday, 9 to 11, and we do it again 5 to 6. If I see that we're running low for the 5 to 6 shift, my team and I, we go out and we'll shop to make sure that somebody's going to get something for that evening shift. Now, if we get a few extra ones in there, because it's all on a first come, first serve basis, I'm going to feed everybody that's still in the pantry line, even though we're supposed to stop serving at 6. If you're in line, I'm going to feed you. A couple weeks ago that happened, and we punted and said, I'm so sorry we don't have any frozen meat, but I do have tinned meat. So I've got chicken in a can. I've got tuna. They're like, great.
All right.
That's awesome. We'll take
That's
that.
wonderful. Now, do the families have to register, or can
They
they
do.
just swing on by? Can you tell?
They do.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about how to register? And
So we do it. We do what we call an intake form, just like going to the doctor's. It has basic information on it: name, address, email on it, phone number. We're trying to get up with the times and email our friends to for all of our programs that we're doing. But it's all the data that we collect that stays in house, and then we offer them a food pantry card, which will tell me how your name is spelled, your house dynamics, how many adults, how many kids are in there, your zip code, and then we have some unique letters that we put up in the corner. So if you're unhoused, meaning homeless. So if you're unhoused, we put a little UH up in the corner. So we give them the dignity when we ask them for their food pantry card. So Bob Smith, we were not going to offer him anything that needs to be refrigerated. So we'll go right into, do you need shelf-stable milk? Do you need some Hormel meals? Do you want some tuna packets? Do you want some tuna and chicken salad packets? Do you need some plasticware?
Again, the whole self-worth.
It's all about
sense.
self-worth.
That's wonderful. And they're
Yeah.
not ashamed to have to ask
No.
for a need. I mean, my mom taught us, and I always say this, and you probably heard this already, huh? My mom taught us that we have two hands. One to reach out when you need help, but also the other one is to extend when you can't help somebody in need. And you guys do that all the time.
And we
So
say that we don't give them a handout, we give them a hand up.
that's exactly true. And that's just not for food. David, the food pantry is very important,
Oh, absolutely.
but you also do so many other services for families in need, for assistance or resources to, try to break that cycle of poverty.
Exactly.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the other things you do to break that cycle of poverty and to help those families and children in need?
Oh, absolutely. So on our family support team, we have 3 case managers and they have a supervisor, our program director. So all of their skills and experiences, some of it's lived experience. These are folks who've been in some of the places that our clients find themselves, but they know where every resource in this county is. That's their job, right? Because we can't replicate every program at Mattie Williams Center.
Right.
It's about knowing where it's at, how to get into that resource or that program at a time when it's needed. So they're navigators. They know who to call and how to make it happen. So, a lot of people out there are able to help themselves. They can search online, they can fill out the application, they can call a dozen times or go down and wait or whatever. For the folks who can't, that's where our workers come in and walk right alongside them. Just like Ellen is saying, we won't do it for someone, but we will help them. We'll hold their hand. We'll walk beside them until they are back on their feet. And you asked earlier what makes us different. We will leave a case open as long as that family's making progress. So we've worked with some families for years because they've got that much work to do to get on their feet. And so I really think it's a great blessing to be able to do that. A lot of folks, out there in service world, they've got to make tough choices about moving on to the next. And, thanks to our support, and in particular, being funded through the Juvenile Welfare Board, we have that opportunity to work with families just as long as they stay on track.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I see Mattie Williams, and correct me if I'm wrong, I see Mattie Williams not just an organization that can help with need, but also to be a bridge to guide them to other places where there may be resources available for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a community connection, right? It's
not like this is all we do, and I have blinders on.
That's right.
You guys expand, and from the food pantry. I mean, I'm sure people may ask during the drive-through line, how else can you help me with X, Y, or Z situation?
And that's where we love our lovely walkie-talkies because I walk 15 miles on a Thursday. We always pray that it never rains on a Thursday. So folks, if you're out there and you can hear my voice, please do the no rain dance on Thursday.
Or just follow
rain.
Follow Ellen on her Facebook page, and you always know when it's a no rain day.
It's a no rain dance every Thursday. No rain. Sorry,
I threw you off. The walkie-talkies.
The walkie-talkies help us. So we get to the car. I ask them for their card. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I need help. So then I walkie-talkie into family support. Do you have your ears on? Somebody in the team hollers out and they come out and find me and I'll point to the car and then we send them off to that car.
Great.
So it usually starts in the food pantry, which bridges off to family support.
Yes.
Family support moves along. Sometimes they're afraid to even open up to family support to where I'll sit in on the case with them, just to get them started to give them the oomph to say it's okay to talk to them.
Can I share a story there?
Sure.
I love stories. So one of our greatest success stories last year was the family we met through the food pantry. And this was a single mom coming through week after week with a school-aged daughter in the car. Now, you heard those food pantry hours. That's when school's in session. So it just made us go, And through Ellen, started asking some questions. What's going on? Did you know we also have this after school? And who sat there with you? What school is she in? Well, we were able to unravel and understand there were some barriers there keeping that child out of school. So we opened up a case on that and got that family stable. And I'm telling you right now, she is not only in school, she's thriving in school.
That's wonderful.
Top of her class. Exciting stuff.
That's
what we're there for. Yeah.
I'll start with the food.
It all starts with the food pantry.
Yeah.
And with a smile and a hello. And when they're done doing their intake and they get their food pantry card, I always look at them because we are a family center and it takes a family, it takes the village. And I always say, welcome to the welcome to the family.
Yeah.
If there's anything that we can do for you, call.
Wow. That's wonderful.
If you don't want to talk to anybody on that other line and you want to talk to me, ask for me to call you back or ask for me to come to the phone. I'll be glad to come and talk, and then we can figure this out.
And I think that's one of the reasons why that expansion that you all had was so important, because you gave them a certain spot where they can sit and talk.
Yes.
To the
Privacy.
people that need privacy. Share without worrying about other people hearing their needs and desires and such.
Not to mention a little work for us to do, a little space for us to do our work, excuse me, inside.
Yes.
So,
David, I saw your office when it was being remodeled.
my gosh.
There wasn't much of an office there for you to do anything. I'm amazed how well you were able to run it so well during those trying times. And Alan, I saw how you ran the food pantry and the food line. And I remember you tried to drop off some stuff and you said, well, I don't have a fridge. We'll be happy to take your stuff, but we have to take it over to the church, I think is where it was and such like that. So you guys make do with what you had. And it was a wonderful garden that you laid out. And so flowers are blooming just like that child.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. How much does Mattie Williams rely on state funding or donations or partnerships? You told me you were a partnership with the Juvenile Welfare Board?
Yes. So the Juvenile Welfare Board of Pinellas County, JWB, they created the neighborhood centers, right? So that is the voters, the neighbors saying, hey, we want to invest in children in the future. The neighborhood centers were really the eyes and ears on the ground, on the front line. So it's our job to report back, hey, what's going on in the neighborhoods? What do they want? What services do they need? And we identify those gaps, and then they're able to point that funding. So that is the bulk of our funding. We also do have very generous donors, individuals who want to help and care for others. And many of them have been in that spot in their past, right? So they get it. And then I got to tell you, our partnerships. Ellen talking earlier about what's not covered by SNAP makes me think about Feeding Tampa Bay.
Feeding Tampa Bay, St. Pete Free Clinic.
Yes, and our friends at Publix.
Hope Villages of America.
Right.
They come through with all those donations that help us stretch $1.
Aldi.
Yeah. So when you're saying like you can't get that sweet anymore with a SNAP benefit, so how are you going to celebrate that birthday? Well, Ellen gets those cakes and cookies and things from Publix, and she keeps them back there. That's how individualized they are. If it's a birthday in a card, they'll know it. The volunteers will put it in there, and then they got that surprise.
Wow.
Well, to take a magic marker and right on top of it.
And we could
right on top of the plastic clam.
Yeah. And we couldn't like go buy that stuff, right? That wouldn't make sense for monetary donations. But through those partnerships, we're able to stretch every dollar, and then Ellen can get the things that we need, like the dish soap and toilet paper and other items. The individual donors too, they'll bring clothes in to us. They choose us because our clothing closet is no cost, and you can take whatever you need whenever you need it. It appeals to a lot of folks who don't necessarily want stuff to be resold. Right. And then you've got people who actually come through and volunteer in very exciting ways. We've got some plumbers and electricians and contractors that we work with who give us the Mattie Williams family discount so that we can help with home repairs. And people need a new washer and dryer or one repaired, any kind of barrier someone may have. They just don't have the budget for it. It can be life-changing for them.
Sure.
Yeah. We had a family we were working with last week. We worked with them for years, and we didn't know this until Ellen and others started asking, Come to find out, their shower had been broken for 2 years.
Wow.
Only able to take a bath with 4 people living in that house. And all we had to do was call a plumber and get them a new mix valve.
Wow.
Right. But it's just getting them to open up. It's getting the story told. And then obviously we want to thank the folks that make it possible, because I am not a plumber.
Right. Well, no, it really is, as you said, a village that's working together
Yes.
to help these people in need.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you're just jumping in, you are listening to FLA Law on the radio. I am Matthew Noyes. I am one of the partners at the law firm of Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes, the oldest personal injury law firm here in Tampa Bay. We have been helping people after car accidents, work injuries, Social Security disabilities, trip and falls, and other types of matters since 1955. For 71 years, we've been out helping the community. And one way we like to also give back is to give a sounding board for wonderful organizations like Mattie Williams. And so today we are blessed to have 2 wonderful people from Mattie Williams, David Hale, the executive director, and Ellen Young, the food pantry director as well. And so you're listening to them. You're saying, why aren't we talking about e-bikes and laws and such like that? Well, this stuff is very important to those families in need, and it is only right to give some time to give back to the community, for the community has given us so much to make us be here for 71 years. So listeners, you do have time to still call in with a question, a comment, or, just a thought of Mattie Williams or other local organizations. 3 ways to do it. Call us at 727-441-3000. Excuse me. Or jump on our Facebook page at Perenich, Caulfield, Avril Noyes Injury Lawyers. We're live right now. You can see us in the studio. Or you can jump on our YouTube page as well, and you can type in a comment there, and we'll be happy to address any questions, any concerns that you have, or, any thoughts of better ways to help people in the community in need. Again, we were talking very early on about the community in need, and especially nowadays, the prices, you see it in the news every day, that struggling just to live paycheck to paycheck. I was watching on the news yesterday about a guy who delivers for Uber on his bike in St. Pete because he can't use the gas to do it, and that's his second job.
Yeah.
And so there's so many people out there that are working hard just to survive, and really people like you all in your organization and the volunteers really give them a helping hand to survive. So I salute all you guys for doing that.
Well, thank you.
I must admit, I did go to your gala.
Yeah.
Fun
party.
What I really enjoyed about that the most was, again, just the warmth that you felt. I mean, the people that were there were volunteers, workers, families that were there. And you could just feel the sense of community. You could feel the family that Mattie Williams Family Neighborhood Family Center was all about. And so it's because you guys are really working hard to do that, and you have that mission. Could you, if anyone's just jumping in, can you, again, just tell them a little bit about Mattie Williams and what the mission at Mattie Williams is?
Yeah, well, I think you summed it up well. It's our mission to be that family in the neighborhood. A family for folks who may be alone, family for folks who may take a stumble and need a helping hand or a leg up just to get back on their feet. And in particular, we focus on children, the future generations, to ensure that they have every opportunity, no matter what might be going on in their family, that they've got that safe, secure place, whether it's our after-school program or if it's Ellen's program with making sure there's food in the house, something the kids can cook if they need to, just to get that basic nutrition, because nobody can learn on an empty stomach. And then, of course, with our case management and our family support team, just helping people find and navigate resources. You mentioned earlier, Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid, and healthcare. All these things are complicated. We just help people navigate. We can help them fill out an application. We can help them call the right folks. And sometimes there are programs out there they haven't heard of.
Right.
That we know about.
Right.
So you never know where that help might be.
No, I think that's a wonderful thing. Ellen, I without sharing names, I'd like you to tell us and our listeners, about something that stuck out with you, a family or a person whose story really impacted you.
There's several families that have done that. Some are generational. The one in particular is a generational one that we have helped sustain and taught them how to cook. They've gotten some fruits and vegetables that they've never seen before.
Wow.
So they're so used to eating out of a can. We try to give some fresh items along the way. We taught them how to cook them, and they were just absolutely amazed that, oh, that's what that does. So if you can teach them how to do something along that'd work. We've had some people that would walk up to the food pantry, and then next thing you know, they're in a car because we've helped them with a resume.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They would come through, even just through the food pantry line, just because I'm a food pantry director and our team's a food pantry of our team in the food pantry and our volunteers, hey, can you read this resume? Is this good enough to go out? So we've helped some people along those ways as well.
That's why I hesitate to call you the food pantry director, because you do so much more than just the
Yes.
food pantry,
Did you catch her schedule on that Thursday? Did you catch that when that starts at 9 a.m. on that line, what time do you think she's there?
Yeah.
And then after she does that full shift, doesn't end at 11. She's going out and shopping for the evening. Doesn't even start till 5, feeding people in between. Ellen is a force of nature, and she really will not stop until everybody is fed. And it's a miracle. Every week is almost like a miracle to watch spread. And a lot of work goes into this to take all the food that she and her team have gathered that week and get it across all those families so we don't run out, but everybody gets as much as they can.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh,
We also,
I'm a fan.
Oh.
David, I know you like telling stories,
I do.
And so I don't want to leave you out of it without sharing names. Can you tell us about a family or a story that impacted you the most or really gave you?
You mean another one?
Another one. Why I do what I do,
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm going to go someplace. Alan also went with the generational families. We're working with folks who've been in the neighborhood since Mattie Williams herself started, right? And she was doing this out of her home to help the neighborhood kids when they got off the school bus.
back when I was even in high school, we were in high school.
Yeah.
She was there helping everybody.
Just a positive alternative. You can't just tell kids not to do something. You have to give them that alternative. All right. To what do? You get off the bus. You got to do your homework. You got to have a snack. You got to run off some energy. That lives with us every day. And we've got students now in our program who are the children of folks that Mattie had helped raise.
Wow.
And to see the difference in that generation, and they give us credit. They give the Mattie Williams Center credit for helping keep them on their feet, helping keep them with a roof over their head in that neighborhood. And the story I'm thinking about in particular is everything from fixing up the house. Like I said, storm damage, you get a little leak in that roof, and before you know it, you're living with black mold. It's not a safe place.
You have no roof.
It can just go from 0 to 60 overnight almost. It's scary. And if they don't know where to turn, they don't have the money, people have a way of avoiding those things. So we're there to pull it out. Say, don't. Let us get in front. Let's fix that right now.
Right.
We got you on that. And again, we're stretching every dollar, so we're finding the roofer that's gonna give us that good Mattie Williams discount.
Yeah.
And get it on there. And it just has that generational impact where you can see it in the kids, a decade later, who are now top of their class, rising stars, bright futures, bound for scholarship, headed to college. And it feels like we can have a piece of the pride that family feels for that kid.
You should, and it is amazing how many families, and those are the only people about. There's thousands and thousands of other people that Mattie Williams and the people before you and you right now have helped that may not come to you and let you know that they're step better.
But it's hard to come through that front door to say, I'm hungry,
right,
or I need help. I mean, Suchella will tell you, I don't ask for help. And if somebody says, hey, do you need help? Nope.
Right.
But if you ask me, how can I help you? Then I will answer you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard when they come through that front door and you can just see it's written all over their face. And it's like, have you eaten today? Do you need something to eat? I'll be right back. And you go get them something.
Right.
Do you need a bottle of water? And then you sit them down and you find out what's going on. And then we can move along from there.
Right.
And it's just not just the drive-through that we do. We also, granted, Mattie, our Mattie Williams, we're helping with the kids. We're also helping with the seniors that are out there.
I want to talk about that. I think that's important because we think of Mattie. Well, I think of Mattie Williams Family Neighborhood Family Center as really for the kids and such like that. But you do far more.
We do, yeah.
Tell our listeners a little bit about what you guys do for the seniors.
So for the seniors, it started during COVID that what food pantry calls you and asks you what you need for the week. So it's a twofold scenario of the 30 families, 30 households that we call every Tuesday to find out, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How can we help you? And then talk about what's going on for their week. We make notes. And then we're going to ask them what their food pantry needs are. And we try to get their food pantry needs to them. And we have a couple of seniors that we're their only source of food.
Wow.
Because they cannot get out.
Wow.
And then we care that also in our food pantry, if you're diabetic, let me know. Because we have low sugar items. If you're gluten-free, if you're celiac, because a lot of food pantries it's just about, here's your box.
Right.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. One box fits all. That's just
Right.
not the case.
It's not the case.
That's not life.
That's not,
That's not life. And that's
Right.
not how we do it in ours. So we are creating close to 230 families a week that we're doing. We're creating 230 individualized meals, basically, for
Right.
everybody. And
That's
we're doing
wonderful.
we do it with a smile.
Right.
We do it in the rain. We drive it, deliver to them. And there's times where I've come to the front door, knocked on the door, and like, can you help me with my phone? I don't understand my phone. Sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so we do have about 7 more minutes, and I don't want to forget to make sure. I mean, probably the most important thing is to give our listeners an opportunity to find out how they can help Mattie Williams.
So I love that
We
question.
love that.
I love
That's
that.
one of our favorite
best?
ones.
What is the best way for our listeners to help Mattie Williams?
Well, I'm going to answer it in 2 ways. First and foremost, listening to this program, these stories, now there's somebody else out there who understands why it's important not to judge and why it's important for the neighborhood centers to be there, and that we're going to be there for them as well, even if they think they might never need help. So that's the first thing is if you see folks in need, tell them about us, send them our way. Even if they're not in the areas we serve, we'll get them to the right spot and not before they're fed either. But if they want to directly help, visit our website, mwnfc.org, or follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook. You can see right now we have a campaign that's live. It's because of the need. It's because of what's going on in food pantry. So you can join that campaign. You can give money. You can donate food and clothes. But definitely, I hope what's coming through from Ellen's story here is if you give her $1, she's going to feed 5 people with it.
Yeah.
So those monetary donations are what allow food pantry to scale up to meet the need in the moment. They help us with those programs I was telling you about where we just have to get that right solution for a family. And we accept all gifts.
Kind of reminds me of a story of fish and bread.
The loaves, that's right. Fish and the loaves.
And we walk out of the pantry going, fishes and loaves, please, Lord.
Yeah.
Fishes and loaves. Just like Mother Teresa would say, if you can't feed 100 people, you just feed one.
That's
That's
true.
okay.
That is true. That is true. Ellen, on your side, how can people help?
Right now,
you got a lot of faithful volunteers that help you on a weekly basis.
I do. My volunteers, they're
Rain or shine.
Rain, snow, sleet. They're out there in their covers. They're out there with everything. The volunteers, they're the heartbeat of my community. So the best way to help us, since we're going into construction again, storage is going to be super tight. Monetarily is the easiest way.
Okay.
If you want to drop off some toilet paper and paper towels, that would be great. Feminine hygiene products would be great. The disposables.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And what's the address again? And you are literally in the neighborhood.
Yes.
We are the
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Why don't you give our listeners the address again and the telephone number, and a little slower on the website page.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can get
that's
talking.
the lawyer
That's the lawyer in
talking.
me, right? Yeah, I've got so much time. at the
I know
bench.
that feeling.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that feeling.
So we are Mattie Williams Neighborhood Family Center, which is MWNFC.org. And so you can reach us there at 1003 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street North. That's in Safety Harbor. It's right at MLK and 10th, the intersection there. And we are 727-791-8255. We almost did that. Jeez.
That was good. That was almost, that was
giving
almost
out
in
our cell phone
stereo.
numbers.
We almost had stereo there. That was pretty good. And how can businesses, not just people, but how can businesses and organizations get involved with you all?
Well, we have some bigger campaigns coming up as well.
Mhm,
You know, the food is always going to be ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
The disposables are great with that. But we're going to have back to school coming back, and that's going to be hard for the kids to,
That's a big one. Every year grows the need for students needing help getting ready for back to school, which is everything from we at our event we do everything we can.
Yeah.
The eye exam, the dental exam, the shoes, the backpack, the haircuts.
Yes. I think my brother and sister help out with
Your
the
brother and
haircuts.
sister
right.
do
Yeah,
help
so-
out with that. Lovely
Yeah.
Floyd's Barbecue Shop in Safety Harbor. Shout out to Kelly who does my hair.
Yeah. So I think there's so many wonderful things they can do. The telephone number one more time for them.
You want this
For us,
Yeah.
727-791-8255. That's 727-791-8255. You can find us on the World Wide Web at MWNFC.org.
And I think, and I think what's also important, we talked about having people come in and help you all, but I think what's also very important for this hour is that somebody may be listening and saying, "Oh, I am struggling,
Mm.
I may have a job, but I'm still struggling. I don't, and I don't
need
know how
help.
to put food to feed my children,
Mm-hmm.
and I need help." And so this is a perfect opportunity for them to hear that hey, it's okay to ask for help. And so it's a wonderful opportunity.
We hope you do. That's what we're there for. We can only help you if you are willing to reach out. So extend that hand and we will grab it. And again, it may not be that you're choosing to have trouble putting that food on the table, but that will help the budget if you come over and join the food pantry. At least we give a little bit.
And
That's
100% of the monies that you donate, 100% of those dollars and pennies go right back into our programs.
And I always like to say that clients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And you guys over at Mattie Williams truly show what caring for the communities looks like. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. This does wrap up the another hour. I will be back next week with attorney Jake Blanchard. So tune in there. And if you missed this episode, you can join us on Spotify or any of the podcast platforms. Take care, drive safely, and good night.
Thank you all.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.